In the end, as expected, Bonney's transformation into Nika was short-lived. It was proven a fake by Mars, who claimed it was an imitation from Wish. Furthermore, Bonney lost her newfound powers as quickly as a discharged battery in the sun.
It all worked out with a phone call.
That being said, Chapter 1119 proves to be highly entertaining. It offers multiple intriguing situations, with one of the most noteworthy being the cover story where Wano's children pelt Yamato with stones. This segment of the story truly captivates. So, Yamato's journey in Wano starts, but it is clearly a sad situation. A perfect examination by Oda of how deep resentment and hatred can run in society, even at the expense of those who have nothing to do with it. Shall we spend a few words on it? Let's spend them. Looking at the scene from a certain point of view, it is an image that can leave us with a knot in our throat. Why? Because it is sad to see someone innocent being treated with such cruelty, especially when it is obvious that they are not at fault. But this scene is also a brilliant example of how Oda manages to explore deep and complex themes, such as resentment and hatred in society. Resentment that is often directed toward people who have nothing to do with the original causes of such feeling. In this context, Yamato represents a victim of generational prejudice and resentment. The children of Wano, who grew up in an environment of oppression and suffering under Kaido's rule, see Yamato, Kaido's daughter, as a symbol of their pain. Never mind that Yamato does not share the same ideologies or actions as her father. In the eyes of these children, she is a target of their hatred, a tangible representative of all that they have suffered. This particular situation is not all that different from reality. In our society, it is quite commonplace to witness the transfer of hatred and resentment from one generation to the next. These negative emotions affect individuals who are completely innocent except for their association, whether through family ties or physical resemblance, with those responsible for the injustices. Unfortunately, we observe this pattern in numerous historical and social contexts, which continues to be relevant in today's world. The scenes depicted in Yamato compel us to contemplate how easily hatred can take root and propagate, especially when fueled by fear and ignorance. In considering an internal comparison within One Piece, one may reflect upon Ace, who happens to be Yamato's friend and had encountered a similar predicament. Ace facing condemnation and scorn stemmed not from his actions, but rather from the mere notion of being the son of the Pirate King, the man responsible for flooding the world with pirates through his notorious final words before his death. Ace did not choose to be born as Roger's son. However, he bore the weight of that legacy throughout his life. Due to his association with his father, Ace was regarded with distrust and animosity by those aware of his true identity, without any regard for his own flaws. One can easily grasp a parallel to how Squad was deceived by Sakazuki, for instance. The parallel between Yamato and Ace serves as a poignant reminder of the unjust and painful prejudice that stems from association. Despite his efforts to forge his own path and establish a distinct identity, Ace found himself haunted by the enduring legacy of his father, Gold D. Roger. And the same seems to loom today for Yamato, for this is a character who has tried hard to disassociate himself from his father, aspiring to completely different ideals and dreams. Her unwavering desire to follow in the footsteps of Oden, a revered hero among the people of Wano, rather than their father Kaido, exemplifies how unfair it is to judge individuals based on the actions of their parents. The path to acceptance and understanding is often challenging, but not impossible to achieve. It is a journey that demands courage, resilience, and above all, the willingness to overcome prejudice and fear. With this in mind, I hope Yamato can navigate this path as she travels in Wano. May she be acknowledged for her true self, rather than solely for her lineage. Until now, things have been relatively straightforward, haven't they? Bravo to Oda for his excellent work. Let's go ahead and forward into the chapter. But if you've made it this far, please leave a like and comment, so you support my work in seconds. The part with Kaku and Stussy is equally interesting. It continues a discourse that has already been going on for several chapters, one drop at a time. On paper, it seems almost insignificant compared to the main plot, but this moral dilemma between the two CP agents leaves me wondering. For roughly 20 years, Stussy has been serving the world government as a CP0 agent. Over the past 2 years, she has teamed up with fellow agents Kaku and Lucci. The key distinction between her and them lies in their upbringing as devoted warriors for the government's cause, while Stussy is a clone manufactured by Vegapunk. She was created by him to be used as a pawn for unclear purposes. Now, she finds herself facing a dilemma as Vegapunk is no longer there to provide her with a sense of purpose, consequently rendering her life meaningless in her own eyes. On the other hand, Kaku grapples with the conflict of feeling gratitude towards her despite her betrayal. These dilemmas, which are recurring and profound themes, are exemplified in the Star Wars TV series, The Clone Wars, and The Bad Batch. These series showcase the clones, who were created with specific purposes and trained to follow orders. However, what happens to them when these purposes no longer apply? The dilemmas and pain experienced by the clones are evident. For some, the idea of peace is foreign and unsettling because they were conditioned to engage in warfare. Others place their trust in the new empire, opting to remain enlisted in the military and attempting to hold on to their sense of identity. Nonetheless, they find themselves facing extreme difficulties when forced to eliminate their fellow clones, their own brothers, who have chosen a different path. And then, there are those labeled as defective, who embark on a journey to seek alternative paths, striving to find new meaning in their existence. Stussy, similar to the Star Wars clones, possesses her own humanity. She did not come into existence through sexual reproduction, yet she is no different from other individuals as she experiences emotions, desires, pain. She harbors a soul. Stussy's suffering serves as clear evidence of her aliveness. This state of existence, devoid of an externally ordained purpose, plunges her into an identity crisis. In the absence of Vegapunk's guidance, Stussy feels adrift, lacking clear direction. This predicament is a universal theme. How do we navigate life when the reason for our creation or the purpose we have lived for is abruptly snatched away? In her anguish and quest for significance, she embodies the essence of humanity without guidance or purpose. Despite being a clone, Stussy represents a poignant reminder that the worth of one's life is not contingent upon their method of creation, but rather how they choose to live it. Kaku, on the other hand, appears to distance himself from her in order to shield and safeguard her. He is apprehensive that the authorities might target her, thus acknowledging his reliance on her and demonstrating unexpected compassion. Even Lucci, who we often perceive as a heartless character, has revealed a more humane side by imploring the five elders to show mercy to Kaku. This compels us to ponder upon the complexity of these characters, as they are frequently oversimplified as mere foes lacking depth. The unfolding of this story is incredibly intriguing, serving as a captivating drama within a larger narrative. It is undeniably a beautiful and compelling tale. The middle part of the chapter is devoted to bludgeoning and laughter. Nika knocks me out every time. Unfortunately, with me, Oda plays a game that I lost at the start. I love this transformation. I really like how Franky and Sanji don't miss a chance to use their most powerful physical blows against Luffy, who, by the way, besides feeling a little hurt, doesn't get really hurt, while Bonney doesn't understand and wonders if they are crazy as hell, hitting their captain. But that aside, I was very intrigued by Luffy's line about ambition. Of the three, the only one confirmed to be able to exploit it is Sanji, while both Franky and Bonney so far are nowhere mentioned. However, Bonney's fist is blatantly coated, you can see it, while of Franky I still have the doubt. It would be rather sad that the Carpenter's strong impact right was the only blow of the three that did not bother the captain, and here in my opinion is a missed opportunity of Oda. If in Wano he had picked up some sea stone, and in Egghead had it implemented into his fist by Vegapunk, he would have had a nice level power-up. Who knows, maybe in the end he has the ambition as well. But honestly though, sea stone fists? I like them, I really like them. Mars, akin to the indomitable Team Rocket, is eradicated with the swiftness of light, providing further confirmation of their invincibility. Their elimination can only be achieved through complete annihilation. Will he ever resurface, or is he returning to Mary Joas? We eagerly await an answer. I would like to take this opportunity to share a few words about Jupiter. I cannot confirm whether he is a traitor, as some crazy theories online suggest due to an X mark on his face. I cannot confirm if he is truly unintelligent or if he lacks a purpose in life other than being disappointing. However, I must commend Luffy for his brilliant mockery of Jupiter, comparing him to a fountain of vomit. It is an absolute masterpiece, and I admire Luffy for it. Despite being the most useless elder, I have a pity for him. If you, like me, have pity for him, please show your support by leaving a big thumbs up, and let's strive to not be like him. Think about it. Before we reach the grand finale, Vegapunk returns to the online world. I can't help but express my frustration towards Oda for this. Vegapunk was proceeding to reveal the meaning behind the will of the D, which annoys me even more. However, the information provided is mostly familiar. It is something that has been passed down through generations, as Whitebeard mentioned, and can be termed as a will, as Kure has stated. Yet, there are a couple of phrases that perplex me. The first one being Nanimo, which is followed by Nado Naikaraja, and when translated, it signifies nothing, and because there is no such thing. And then he closes with even more curious stuff. Sonoriu ni honro sareta mono ni, and freezes. Konogoi ga kanarazuya todoku koto oi no teiru, and closes. Although the latter translation can express, I sincerely hope that this voice of mine can reach you. It is the former phrase that piques interest. To those who are subject to the influence of that, I opted for the translation subject to the influence of, because the term used by Vegapunk, Honro, carries a negative connotation of being under someone's control, toying with, jesting with, making a fool of oneself, being manipulated, tossing a ship around, being at someone's mercy. In my opinion, this final part of the message gives the impression that individuals with the letter D within their name are driven by an inherited will that has passed down through generations. This will influences them, making them feel compelled to act in certain ways, as if they have no choice but to follow it. This concept aligns with Whitebeard's message, where Edward Newgate suggested that even if the bloodline of the D was broken, this will would persist. It also connects with Nico Robin's question in Arabasta, where she inquires why those with the D continue to fight. Luffy's response to her question was enigmatic, leaving her puzzled just as if he had presented her with a complex problem to solve. Then clear, Vegapunk may not have understood anything, then the sentence is broken up, so it is even more complex to understand. But there is something interesting about it. The choice of vocabulary I don't think is random. We finally come to the close of the chapter, not before paying homage to Gaimon and Sarfunkel, who are enjoying life in their utter unawareness. Will they die underwater, or will they be rescued? We understand. Finally, the giant robot has a name, Emeth. I at first thought that Oda had revealed the name of Vegapunk reminiscent of Dr. Emeth Brown from Back to the Future, but instead it is the name of the ancient robot, which is a direct reference to the Golem of Prague. This stuff is cool, one because it recalls one of the characters in one of my favorite novels, which is the Bartimaeus trilogy. Two, because the story of the Golem of Prague is one of the most fascinating legends in Jewish tradition. Imagine yourself transported back to 16th century Prague, a turbulent time marked by constant threats to the Jewish community. In the midst of this perilous period emerges Rabbi Judah Loew ben Bezalel, known as the Maharal of Prague, a figure revered for his wisdom, mysticism, and strong leadership. Faced with the ongoing danger and waves of misguided accusations of ritual murder, the Maharal took it upon himself to safeguard his people through an extraordinary means, the creation of a golem. This mythical protector would stand as a shield against violence and help quell the popular uprisings, ensuring the safety and security of the Jewish community in Prague. What is a golem? A golem is a creature made of clay and infused with mystical powers, capable of protecting the ghetto from attacks. Interestingly, we have already witnessed a golem in One Piece, which was created by Prince Gruss, a marine from the Sword Unit. However, the creation process of the golem has roots in ancient Kabbalistic formulas. The Maharal collected clay from the banks of the Vltava River, sculpted a humanoid shape, and imbued it with animation through secret rituals. On the golem's forehead, the word Emeth, meaning truth in Hebrew, was inscribed. Alternative versions of the legend suggest that the golem also contained a piece of parchment with the sacred name of Yahweh placed in its mouth. Once activated, the golem became a powerful and obedient servant. It was able to perform physically demanding tasks and protect the Jewish community from attackers. However, the Maharal knew that the golem had no free will and could not distinguish between good and evil. He carried out orders to the letter, without interpreting or adapting to situations. Thus, over time, the golem began to become more and more dangerous. There are various versions of the legend surrounding the Golem. Some claim that the Golem grew in size and became impossible to control, while others state that it displayed violent behavior, posing a threat to the community it was meant to safeguard. The Maharal came to realize that if left unchecked, the Golem could actually cause more harm than good. As a result, he made the decision to incapacitate the Golem. To accomplish this, he erased the initial letter of the word Emeth, transforming it into Met, which means death in Hebrew. In alternate renditions, the Maharal removed the name of God from the Golem's mouth, effectively stripping it of life. Legend has it that the lifeless body of the Golem was concealed in the attic of the Prague synagogue, where it purportedly remains to this day. Considering the recent restart of the robot, in which it apologized to Joy Boy, I believe it is possible to draw a comparison between the story of the Golem of Prague and Oda's intentions for the Iron Giant Emeth. Could it be that Joy Boy created the robot to protect his people during the empty century? And did this robot, lacking a conscience and the ability to distinguish between good and evil, actually put the community it was supposed to safeguard at risk? This could explain the apology. It could also shed light on Joy Boy's request, as we finally have the opportunity to read his words for the first time, for the robot to take action again when the time is right. What is the time? Now that the 800 years have passed? Now that the years that Roger and crew were aware of have passed? That time this is clear. But why? Will we find out soon, or will more years pass? Who knows? There is always this prophecy to figure out, the concurrence of events that collide at this precise moment. We will see. Who knows? However, guys, the truth remains that One Piece is incredibly awesome. Right now, I'm experiencing the most enjoyable period of my reading life. Despite the fact that he reveals the details to us gradually, it is undeniably entertaining. Furthermore, I can hardly wait for the upcoming weeks to delve into the 1120. I hope you had a good time watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I salute you. Remember to behave well and have a great time. Bye-bye.